What is up, guys? Fellow here. And one of the things that I struggled with the most in life was failing, and how I never realized that it was one of the best things to happen to me. So, this is what I'm here to explain. So, failing can be anything. It could be school, relationships, it could be work stuff, it could be anything. And how do we learn stuff to not do again? Well, that's by failure. And I struggled a lot with school, and when I did exams, I would never study properly. And one time I really needed to pass this exam. It was one of the biggest exams, and it was basically a make it or don't. And, you know, obviously I did exams before and I got really shit grades on it because, I thought they were easy. And then the minute that I got to that really hard exam, I didn't realize that it was one of the worst exams I've ever been through because I didn't know anything, even though I thought I studied. Yeah, I looked at the piece of papers, I looked at the reviews, I read the books, skimmed through them mainly, but I still played video games. I still wasn't focused when I was quote unquote studying. I was still on my phone watching YouTube. And ever since then, I've ever had an exam, I've never done that again. And even though I really needed to pass that exam, it made me realize when I failed that I'm never going to do that mistake again. And I can say that I've never, because I learned that failing is good. That's the moment I realized that failing was so good, because if it wasn't for that exam, and if it wasn't for how I was studying beforehand, I wouldn't have, changed anything. If that exam would have been easy and I would have just done it, who knows in the future how I would have done an exam, how well I would have done, or how I would have, studied for anything. It could be anything. And even for your relationships, if you're doing something that's bad and then you're not realizing it's bad, then, you know, hopefully afterwards you break up. I'm going to say this. A lot of the times you're going to learn mistakes that you did throughout a relationship at the end. And, that could be failure if you deemed, if your relationship failed. You could deem that as a failure because obviously you probably did something, let's just say, and your partner breaks up with you, and you're kind of there being like, God damn, like, why did she leave? And then you look back on it and you realize that, oh shit, like, the relationship failed because of this and this. Maybe I wasn't communicating good enough, or maybe I wasn't doing that. And it's such a great thing, but in the moment, failing is the worst feeling because you don't want to fail. And failing is the worst feeling. I hate it and I don't want to do it. I don't want to fail. I want to succeed in everything. But I also realize that a lot of the times people needed to fail to be so good at something. And it's such a interesting thing. Like, I remember I was working with someone and they didn't want to go to the gym because they didn't want to fail having this amount of weight. They wanted to be able to lift this much weights. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you need to fail. You need to fail at something to be good at it. How do you think people get good at sports, for example? They're not going to be able, like, some people might be godly gifted at birth, but you got to go through training. You're going to get through, like, if you're playing football, you're going to get hit so many times before you're actually able to, like, withstand certain hits or something. You learn how to take it. You learn from the mistakes you're probably doing in anything. And it's such a great thing and a blessing to understand once you actually understand it, because you know that because of your actions and because how you treated something, you fucked it up, and you know not to do it again, to never do it again, because that's the outcome you're going to get. And if you want to avoid that outcome, you got to be able to fucking understand when you did that mistake, that's the shit you're not going to do again. I hope that makes sense. But it is such an interesting thing, and I really wanted to talk about it as today's video, because I feel like a lot of people I know, when we fail at something, or when they fail at something, we tend to down ourselves and say that we're stupid and we're not worth anything. And because someone that's smart would have passed this exam, or someone that that's good at driving would pass their driver's test on the first try. No, I failed my, those tests that you do to get, like, your first license, like your, those screen ones. I failed that so many times, and I never talk about it because it's embarrassing. But at the same time, it's like, I learned after, like, the first few tries, okay, this is, like, not how you study. I didn't study properly. And shit like that, you learn from your mistakes, and you learn when you do anything. And I don't want to repeat myself, so I'm going to cut this video super short. But guys, please, if you need a sign because you didn't do good on something, or you failed at something, this is the sign. do not down yourself. You are a smart individual if you're realizing that you fucked up. And as long as you're realizing that you fucked up, that's what matters. Because if you take accountability of you failing that exam, because, oh, I used to say, oh, the teachers changed the exam and then blah, blah, blah. No, it's because of how I studied and how I took that information. It's my fault. It's on me. I'm going to take it, learn from it, and move on. When they say you learn from your mistakes, you really do. And if you don't, then you're really not taking accountability of your mistakes, and you're going to keep doing it. You got to own up, be a man, and fucking say that you fucked up. And that's how you're going to move on and be greater at things. But either way, that's what I wanted to talk about. Let me know if I should have talked about anything else about failing. I mean, I feel like I got the point across. I kind of wanted to just say that because I came back from a class, and I'm thankful I don't have to do any tests for this class and all that. So there's no way that I fail it. I know it sounds like egotistical to say that I won't fail, but knock on wood. But either way, there's not that chance because assignments are a lot easier than exams and all that stuff. But anyways, I'm rambling. I hope you guys have a great day, and please stay smart.